That is correct. All right, and then this, and then this. All right, now we got Anish versus Fabiano. Something went amish for Fabiano this match. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a Stewie joke from Family Guy. Mm-hmm. You know why he said it? Mm-mm. It was the Amish episode. And he said something's amish. Oh. And then Brian slapped him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. How did MVL not see a retreating move? That is correct. All right. All the Young Dudes, written by David Bowie, Matt the Hoople. That is correct. Mm-hmm. After they rejected Bowie's Suffragette City. Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So Giri Fabiano, the match that didn't matter. This is the match that doesn't matter. Reverse Sicilian. Not too exciting. Pretty boring. And very passive play by Fabiano. Knight here, knight here, knight here, knight here. Frankly, terrible. All right, d4, punishing his opponent for his indolence and his insolence. Now he's lined up on the bubble up. Good. He's got good squares for his knights. Also good. Traded queens, so Giri's happy. f6, terrible. h3 is too passive. White has the two bishops. What else? Nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens. White doubles up on the bubble up. White has the two bishops. h4 is good. Knight h2 is good. Okay, now he should sack the exchange. Rook takes. Then after rook takes, bishop b4. Okay, then he can come in with his rook and take this and take this and take this. But he's Giri, so he retreated. Okay, f5. Never play f3. Takes. Knight d5. Sort of a boring game. Okay, now it's two bishops against two knights. But it's too blocked up. All zeros. And then they repeated. And then this is funny. Like here, I'm going to take white because I have two bishops against two knights. And they start repeating. And then Fabiano plays knight d6 and doesn't repeat, playing for the win. Fabiano could have claimed a draw with king f7. So he plays for the win because he's playing Giri. Yeah, how insulting. Then he changed his mind right away. Yeah, okay, then they drew. So that was a very boring draw where Giri was getting an advantage, but then he traded everything to a draw. So he was happy. Mm-hmm. He likes to draw. Okay, next game. Another Sicilian. And very, 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 very passive play by Fabiano. Every move the most passive. You can't play more passive for white. Terrible. Yeah, very bad play from Fabiano. Two bishops, extra pawn, horrible. Exactly. That's right. All right, look at this, f3. Boo! Boo! Okay, so two bishops, what else? f3, terrible. Black's winning. Okay, now Anish tried to throw it all the way. He's been building, getting this winning position, and now he plays here, which wins a pawn, but gives away most of his advantage. See how the rook's hanging? Mm-hmm. So you got to take with the queen to defend the rook, and black's up a pawn. But he got rid of most of his advantage, he's just up a pawn. Okay, and then white gets this activity. And now I thought the game would be drawn. This looks like a draw. This should be a draw. Okay. Then, if you want to cheat in chess, which I recommend, but not in our tournament, black should play here. Rooks go behind past pawns. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that would never happen. Okay, but obviously, this is a drawn position. With the rook here, it's probably winning. Black pushes the a pawn. And Fabiano let him do it. He let him do it. He played rook b4. And then he played takes. Yeah, and then here, he played rook c4, a very, very bad move. Really bad move. And then he played back here. Excellent. And he got his rook there. Man, how'd that happen? What happened here? So this is like, I thought 50% winner draw, and they played like 900,000 moves. And then eventually, Fabi moved his king over here and resigned. That was a suspicious, Yeah, and then, okay, so now I win. So he played g5, hoping this happens and this happens, and he just went back and took the pawn. Can't defend the pawn. So now he resigned. Frankly, terrible. So very bad play by Fabi. He played really passive, got a lost position, Giri let him draw, and then Fabi's like, nah, I'll just lose. Terrible. Okay, very long, terrible game. Okay, next game, Fabi needs to win, so he plays the Dutch against the Dutchman.
Dutch guy.
Yeah, against the Dutch guy, yeah. Okay. And he plays a stonewall, sort of. Is he sort of a stonewall, right? Mm-hmm. And then the bishop on c8's no good. So white's slightly better. All right. Good for white. White's bishop is better than black's bishop. f3. Boo, boo, f3. By the way, f3 is a bad move. I mean, according to the engine, it's a bad move. Yeah. All right. And then this is the... Ooh, bishop f1. Redeeming himself. That's good. This is the game that doesn't end. When these guys play strategical and move around in circles, their moves are great. Then when they're like, ha-ha, then the engine's like, no, that's no good. Oh. Yeah, that's like every game's like this. Look at this trick he plays. Knight d4. See how the pawn's pinned? Mm-hmm. All right. So then knight f3. Always play knight f3. All right. And then in this position, black blundered knight c5. Okay, I'm going to tell you why he blundered. Because after knight c5, knight c5 is a blunder, and now Giri blundered. Now Giri's move gives him close to a winning position, but he has a better move. And this is too hard for Puzzle Rush or whatever. Okay, rook a8, confusing Kieran.
Yeah, that is confusing.
Yeah, so if you take it, I take with check, and then I get my rook back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so rook a8, the engine says is winning. And instead he played queen takes and e6, which is also close to winning, but not as winning. Okay, and they traded everything and got this position. And the engine says like 50% win, 50% draw. Okay, so Giri got outplayed, and they got this drawn position. Okay, king h3 is a mistake. Now it's a draw. Engine says all zeros. You agree. Okay, so now they repeated. I thought it would be a draw. They started repeating. Okay. And then Giri decided to play for a win. He played rook f2. Now after rook f2, white can't do anything. It's a draw. And black blundered here. He made like double question mark move, losing immediately. This queen's very good here. The reason is, if this rook moves, queen takes f3. And he moved his queen away. He just missed what white could do. It was a horrible blunder. Queen check, and now rook g2. And if the queen was on e3, which it was, queen takes f3 check. Mm-hmm. Now, watch this threat. You watching? Mm-hmm. Rook takes g6 check, hg, queen h8 mate. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So Fabi stopped it. Rook here, stopping mate. Rook g5, threatening rook h5 check. King takes rook, queen g5 or queen h4 mate. There's no defense to that.
Right. So
he resigned. You can't stop it. Now, what he should have done is played rook b7. And now it's not mate because you can block with the rook. The difference is, now if you play rook g5 with that mate I showed you, mm-hmm. since the rook is here instead of here, we have queen e7 because the rook is on b7. Now the winning move is rook takes f5 because the g-pawn's pinned. And now white's up 2 pawns for nothing, so completely winning. Yeah. But still better than resigning. So in this position, the engine says it's equal and white has no threat, and Fabi played queen c5 and resigned. Terrible. And then resigns. So Giri wins the match. 2.5-half. It's over.
I thought Fabi didn't usually resign.
Well, that's mate, so it's mate.
Yeah.
I mean, you mate.
Usually plays to the end. I
No, but this is the end.
thought. All right.
Mate. Check and mate. I mean, it's two mates. The best move according to the engine is here. That way you don't get mated, so then you lose that.
Yeah.
You can't play there. You can't play Queen E7. People start looking at you like E7. What? Can't do that. All right. And now this game didn't matter because the match is over. And they got some position that was equal. Okay. Now, in this position, I was espousing here. I was like, wow, that's a great night. Hooray for everybody. Right? Mm-hmm. And I said, he'll play knight here and F5 and then the knight's here and what a great night. And then Giri played knight takes here. And I was like, wait, what? I said, all right, Giri will put his other knight there. All right. And then he tricked me. He just like played terrible. He put his rook there, which is awful. That's the worst move ever. It's like he lost on purpose because the knight's coming here. Mm-hmm. So what was that? What kind of move is that? What? Okay. So Fabi played F4. That is correct. F4 is great. Doubled up on the bubble up. And now here, with equal material, Black resigned. Look at the engine evaluation. Okay, and the reason is, like, that's a threat, right? Mm-hmm. There's bigger threats. Well, let's say you move the rook.
Okay.
Let's say. Takes, 94. God damn. Do you understand me, sir? Bishop. Look at the engine. You'll be scared.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty amazing. They can see all that.
Yeah.
So quickly.
No, but I mean strategically, rook c5, rook c8 is knight takes c. Every move was the worst strategically, right? That's the way Fabi plays when he's playing well. He doesn't even win material and the game's over. I mean, look at the evaluation. Ridiculous. King h8 is extra bad because in that variation, the king's better on g8 in that situation. So very bad play by Anish Giri, but he still won the match. So those were the 18 games played yesterday. Now, I'm going to end the stream, and then I'm going to stream in 20 minutes. The next stream will be the first semifinal between Hikaru and Fabiano. Those are the only people playing today. There's only one match. Now, the match rules are different today. During the match, they'll be like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. Here's what's different. If it's 2-2, they don't play Armageddon. They play 2 blitz games, 5-minute, 3-second increment. If after 2 blitz games it's tied, they play 2 more blitz games. If after those 2 it's tied, then they play Armageddon. Therefore, there's 4 possibilities today. There's 4 games or 6 games or 8 games or 9 games. We don't know yet. I think 4 is the most likely, but okay. Then the next day is the same thing. There is no match for third place. Third place and fourth place is the same money. They split the money. So whoever loses this match today and whoever loses tomorrow, they both get $30,000. Also, they get 1/30 of a pittance, paid in 30 annual installments of a pittance. Okay, I think that's Family Guy. And then the next day, May 3rd, that's the final match. The winner gets $70,000. And then May 4th is the most important match.
You and Rosen.
Me and Rosen, right. Then May 5th to 10th is the Nations Cup, I think they call it that, which I'm also doing live commentary. Then May 9th is our big tournament, which is right after the Nations Cup penultimate round. Very confusing. Oh, it's Futurama? That's correct. It was Futurama. That's right. Yeah. Who and Rosen? That is correct. Okay, so today Fabiano's playing Hikaru. They start in 30 minutes. And they play either 4, that is correct. This Sunday in 2 days, May 3rd, that's the new Rick and Morty. That is correct. So there's a lot going on. Yeah. 600 viewers to do. Don't leave. Come back in 20 minutes. No leaving. Roar, etc. Man, you know things are tough when Sam Copeland has 100, usually has like 10. 106, that's the most he's ever had. Yeah. All right. Man, I guess their pre-show's not too good. 2,000? Look at that. Just 24. Mm-hmm. Usually they have, Magnus isn't playing today, so.
They usually do a recap before.
Yeah, but their recap only got more than, like a little more than me. Usually, and the actual show gets like 20 times more than me.
People like to tune in to see
exactly
what people are sleeping.
That's right. Don't leave. No. Ben, when will you play a game with me? Exactly. It'll be like Quoth the Raven. Nevermore. All right. Bye, everybody. See you in 20 minutes.